Hello and welcome to another episode of The Grindbin. I'm Mike Wood.
I'm Chris Mann.
Today we're going to be talking about 2005's Dangerous Men.
A movie that took the lifespan of approximately one man-child to complete.
Hey, Bobby, I got the money.
Yeah, I made the team. But you're a hooker.
Get that goddamn thing out of your mouth.
Set it, knockers.
Spooky got no real poetry. Brenda, we're gonna play a little game, baby.
I just love fun and games. Get a little girl all hot and horny.
You could have been decent once in a while. And maybe Daddy would have had to kill himself because he couldn't get it up anymore.
What a shame.
Come on, just step on the gas before we get creepy.
Okay, so this movie is listed on IMDb as being made in 2005, but that is definitely not the full story.
That is the year the movie came out.
Yes. And I have a very personal connection to when this movie came out, which we'll get to here in a second. So let's start with our director, writer, producer, composer, production designer, and editor, John S. Rad.
Man of the people he is.
Sometimes referred to as John S. Rad, sometimes just John Rad. He is quite the auteur.
Renaissance man.
John Rad died in 2007 from a heart attack. So he died 2 years after this movie made its initial run. Now, there's a reason I know about this movie. And, okay, so recently it was picked up by Drafthouse Films, which is excellent. Thank you so much to the people over at Drafthouse for actually recognizing this movie and its brilliance. I saw this movie as part of like this bizarro underground like UFO sighting type deal, because it was this urban legend type movie in LA for a long time, ever since it came out. I'd seen it in the theater for a showing. I believe 2005. So shortly after it had originally made its run, I went and saw it with some people. And I have a great story for you about that. But This is the article right here. I'm going to read it to you, a few excerpts from LA Weekly in 2005 that actually made me go see the movie. It's called The Passion of Rad by Paul Cullum. For 7 days in late September, a film about which practically no information was available surfaced in 5 area theaters titled Dangerous Men. It was described on its poster as a, quote, an unforgettable suspense mystery drama. Yet neither the film nor its director, John S. Rad, appeared anywhere on the internet, including the usually infallible Internet Movie Database.
Right.
And then remember, this is 2005, so check it now. There's plenty of stuff. This in itself is something of an accomplishment, and yet it did little to prepare me for what lay in store. Dangerous Men first popped up on my radar in an email from Phil Anderson, a partner in the West LA video store Cinephile, which, if you have time to check out Cinephile, by the way, if you're ever in LA, awesome video store, who himself had been alerted to the film by a single TV ad broadcast during UPN's late-night Fear Factor reruns. And UPN's not even around anymore.
No, they're not.
Even several days into its run, the only information about Dangerous Men to be found online was an equally mystified review by The Ultimate Dancing Machine, published on HollywoodBitchSlap.com, and a handful of user comments ranging from pitiful but riveting to makes my eyes bleed in a good way to incomprehensibly mind-numbingly and adorably weird to the measured, I just saw this and it made me retarded. I quote them here because there can't be more than a dozen of us who saw the film. Cumulative sales from all 5 theaters for the week were reportedly $70. And I know at least one person who saw it 3 times. Consensus opinion seems to be that Dangerous Men was shot sometime in the late 1980s and completed in the mid-1990s. A calendar in one shot is dated 1995, December, and most of the actors' credits fall off soon after that. The illustrious Mr. Rad is credited as director, screenplay writer, editor, executive producer, and all-around creator, as well as with post-production, location and stage design, and original music, song, and lyrics. Remarkably, this cannot be deemed overstatement, for Dangerous Men evidences one of the most eccentric, hermetic, idiosyncratic sensibilities to be found in the filmmaking canon. Background paintings leap out of frame. Key exposition is delivered away from the camera. Actors appear to repeat key speeches phonetically. Kung fu sequences employ reverse zooms, sucking the action out of the scene. Sex acts invariably involve massaging of knees and licking of navels. A biker bar prominently features an espresso machine. As it turns out, I have met John S. Rad at a Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf in Tarzana. He is tall, gaunt, in his 50s or 60s, with piercing eyes, jet black hair, a trimmed goatee, and a mustache that curls up at the ends. It is the nature of Dangerous Men that everything associated with it requires intense scrutiny. According to Mr. Rad, he was raised in Tehran, one of 4 children of a successful physician in the Iranian army, and later educated in London at an adjunct of Cambridge. Returning to Iran, he worked as an architect, amassing a fortune of several $1 million, before turning to filmmaking and completing 11 films in Farsi. In 1979, when the Shah was deposed, Rad managed to get out, albeit without his millions, 24 hours before Khomeini came to power, relocating to Los Angeles, where his mother-in-law lived.
Wow.
Since then, he has made 2 feature films in English, Under the Skin of Night and Tough and Restless, about neither of which there appears to be any information. He claims to be the author of more than 100 songs and 1,000 poems, is writing a memoir cum manifesto, and seems like a very nice man who has lived a normal life, devoted to raising his 3 now-grown children. He is, however, not the slightest bit phased that his film, which has been revived for a single midnight screening this weekend at the Sunset 5 Theater, with the possibility of more to come, may be finding its audience. My father told me something I never forgot. Impossible is impossible, Rad says. I have been an architect, which I consider myself one of the best. I've done a lot of different buildings in different places in the world. And 2, I'm a filmmaker. I create differently. If it is bad, it is a bad different. If it is good, it is a good different. I don't follow anybody's technique but my own. For instance, if I am really hungry, as an architect or a filmmaker or any profession, and you come in and you give me all the money in the world and you say, do something like that, even when that is one of my own works, impossible. I walk alone, as I have been walking alone all my life.
Profound.
So, you notice that it said there was a midnight screening at the Sunset 5 Theater that weekend.
Yeah.
I went to see this movie because of that article. Mm-hmm. My dad actually found it because of some weird radio interview he heard while driving home from Los Angeles.
Oh, no kidding.
And he said, we got to go check out this movie. And I was in college at the time. And I said, well, sure. So we went up to the theater, the Sunset 5, Laemmle Sunset 5. We saw a ton of people in the theater. Like a ton of people outside the theater. We even saw Adam Sandler waiting. And we thought, oh man, everybody must have got the news. This is going to be a huge hit.
Yeah.
No. None of those people went in the theater. In fact, they were going to see a midnight screening of The Room.
The Room. Yeah.
Which was also a really big cult film at the time. But Dangerous Men, not so much. It was still very, very obscure. So we watched this movie, and there was literally nobody else in the theater except for me, my dad, my stepmom, my then girlfriend, and my roommate. We laughed hysterically throughout the movie. But when the house lights came on and we walked out, I found sitting right behind me was John Rad with his wife. And I know it's him because there used to be johnsrad.com and there was a picture of him. Mm-hmm. It's him.
Yeah.
The goatee, the mustache. He was wearing his sunglasses inside and he had his little hat on.
He's like Bizarro John Waters.
Yeah, he looks like like an Iranian John Waters, actually. Yeah. He didn't even look at us. He said nothing.
Did he wear sunglasses?
Yes, he was wearing sunglasses the whole movie.
Wow.
And he looked kind of upset. I knew right away it was him because I had researched the movie as much as I could before we went and saw it. I wouldn't dare say anything to him because, I just laughed at his whole movie and he was sitting 2 feet from me. I had no idea he was there. So I said last week that I have a personal connection to this movie. Well, later in an interview, when he was asked what he thought of people laughing at his, quote, masterpiece, he said in an interview, At a midnight screening he was able to attend, the one I was at,
Yeah.
before his death, he referred to everyone laughing in the theater as, quote, just a bunch of drunk people. Now, I was not drunk. Not at all. And I find that a little bit of an insult.
It is.
But I think it's amazing that I was referenced in an interview with him.
I think that's an achievement on your behalf.
When Rad's daughter was later interviewed, she said she was not sure he would have understood the film's place as the so bad it's good type of movie.
Yeah.
John Rad honestly thought this was a masterpiece.
Yeah.
Every other interview or anything I've ever read, he does not understand why people would laugh at it. He has repeatedly said that the movie is, quote, and this is his words, perfect.
Yeah, this is his Citizen Kane.
Yes,
if you will.
He would not have changed a frame. He
No.
loved every minute of it, and it took him literally a lifetime to make.
Yeah.
He finished it and then died 2 years later.
Yeah, and good for him. A lot of filmmakers don't even get to make their dream film, and he did. Even if it's terrible in our eyes, it's an achievement. So I commend him posthumously.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, he lived his own version of the dream.
Yeah,
So what
good
are you
for
going
him.
to do?
Yeah, I admire that.
So, you heard me say it made $70, right? Well, and how nobody knew this movie even existed.
Mm-hmm.
Well, much like how Tommy Wiseau bought that billboard for
Yeah.
like 3 years or whatever, advertising his own movie. John Rad personally paid out of his pocket to rent 4 movie theaters in Los Angeles to screen this movie when it came out.
Yeah.
This is known as a, quote, 4-wall distribution.
Yeah.
Where a theater makes their money from the rental charge and would have given all box office sales back to the director. This cost him somewhere in the range of tens of thousands of dollars, which means the director failed to make even 1% return on his investment. They also said this thing where, the director claimed in 2005, this is from IMDb Trivia, interview with LA Weekly. So there was, although that's not that same one, he never says this. He says he directed it does say he directed 2 English films, aside from Dangerous Men, yet no record of these films seems to exist. When asked why there was no record of these movies, he only claimed it was because the films were, quote, sold.
No.
He also repeatedly avoided to name the films. However, John Rad's real name is Jahangir Salahi, and those 2 movies we said, If a Leaf Never Falls, 1976, and Under the Skin of Night, 1974, are listed on IMDb, and there's actors and everything, but no information about it. Don't worry, they were sold. So,
how do you think he bought that theater?
amazing background to the movie. So let's just briefly mention some of the actors, which there are really none to speak of. Melody Wiggins, who plays, the IMDb says Mira, but it sounded to me like her name was Mina.
Yeah, I heard Mina throughout the entire film.
It made no sense. I was like, no, I think this is wrong.
Yeah.
It's got to be Mina.
Yeah.
She's in nothing else. And by the way, it doesn't even mention other Mina, which we'll get to.
Oh.
Trip Law, who used the credit as Lawrence McNeil III, who plays the black police officer, which I finally figured out his name, and I'm not going to tell you because the movie doesn't tell you his name until literally the next to last scene in the movie.
Yeah, I remember hearing it. Like, oh, that's his name. Cool.
I'm not ruining it, no. Yeah. Lots of TV shows, actually, and some shorts and indie films. He's still working. Michael Hurt, who used the name Keeley Miller for the movie, who plays Daniel, the guy, Mina's husband, fiance. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Lots of direct-to-video softcore porn and not so softcore porn.
Soft.
You ready for these titles?
Oh, I'm ready.
Gangbang Bitches 14. Hospital Gangbang.
There was 4
No, hold on.
There were
Gangbang Bitches 15. Clean Up Gangbang.
Okay.
Clean Up Gangbang. That's like my favorite name I've ever heard. Do you think they just clean up from 14? It's just the aftermath.
It's the next frame. Like, it's a frame immediately after 14.
Erotica.
Oh, I like that. It's a good title.
Buffy the Vampire Layer.
Ah, very creative.
Butt Sisters Do Washington, D.C. Mr. Holland's Orgy. Rebel Without a Condom. Stiff as a board.
A little on the nose, but all right.
And fucked to death. So I thought that was amazing. This guy really does act like he stars in pornos because his line deliveries are
Stiff as a board.
So the guy who plays David cannot find it. I can't even find his name or anything on IMDb because all the characters of this movie are just listed as not by any names, but here's some for you. Dart player, motel manager, biker, police detective, police officer.
Yeah,
That's it.
You're really hard pressed to find any other information other than the title of the person they played, and that's it.
Yeah. So with that, let's start Dangerous Men.
Yes.
So you can hear the theme song playing right now.
Yeah, this theme song, it feels like I've heard it before walking into every arcade in the 90s in the select start menu area. And the real bad arcades would have this song playing throughout the game.
Oh.
That's how you know they were bad. It's one soundtrack.
So this theme song will play probably a good 15 times during this movie because the whole movie is scored completely. There's not one moment of silence in the whole movie. The whole thing
Or
has
lyrics,
music.
which is kind of funny.
Oh god, there's you remember how we said Super Chick the production values are shit?
Yeah.
Oh, not even close to Dangerous Men. Yeah. Dangerous Men's production values are so sub-level that it's like I honestly think a 5-year-old could make a more coherent film.
Yeah. This is like the bottom of the litter box.
There are times where the music is so loud that you can't even hear any sort of audio. Luckily, there's closed captions, so I got some great lines, even though you can't hear them.
Yeah, I'm glad you got that then, because oh shit, I couldn't hear a word they were saying.
So I noticed, okay, we start on the credits, and we first see a John S. Rad film with horrible fast cuts of a beach with waves just coming up.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden the words Dangerous Men come onto the screen. They meet together in the middle and explode. You always know a movie's going to start out great when there's an explosion in the title.
It's like, this is how like McBain movies and The Simpsons start out. It's an exact parody of that.
So then the next credit is created and written by John Rad. So now he's cut the S out of his name. Next credit, producer, John Rad. Mm-hmm. Original music, song and lyrics, John Rad.
Which I have a problem with because there are no lyrics in the entire score.
There's some lyrics in one part.
Please.
We'll get to it.
What is it, a cough? A sneeze? Go fuck yourself. Lyrics.
Oh, there's definitely lyrics. They're written in the sand, Chris. Then the next credit, executive producer, John Rad. Which you already put a producer. Like, why you really put executive producer?
Like, he has to consult himself. Like, run room to room to check with the man upstairs. To check the executive producer.
Then, directed by John Rad.
Oh, thank God.
Are there any more credits? No.
Then those appear a total of 6 times. I counted.
No credits.
Not for the cast.
Not one actor.
Crew.
Nobody. No.
Studio. Nope, it's all him. All him.
We immediately cut to, from the beach, really horrible cuts of a man walking into a house. And the lighting is so fucking bad.
Like the shadows, I felt like if this, all right, turn down all the color on your TV. It's like you're watching Nosferatu.
This is like, I was gonna say, it's like, you know, in The Third Man when they have those like chase scenes and there's those huge shadows, but it's done on purpose.
Yeah,
it's like John Rad's like, yeah, I like that shit. Put up one giant light. Like, it's like they just threw a 5K light in front of his house in Hollywood, and like it's obviously at night because there's no other light except for this one giant headlight that shines far above the actor and casts the biggest shadow you've ever seen on this house. So he walks up the stairs, sneaking into the house, which, by the way, the theme song is still playing.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden the music changes when he walks into this bedroom, which has the most horrible series of cuts.
Yeah.
It's like it shows him walk in, then it shows the woman, then it shows the empty door, and then he appears next to her. Then he surprises her. They make out. The audio and dialogue is so fucking shitty that you can't understand really what they're saying at all. And like he definitely didn't have any idea how to record audio.
Oh, no,
because
not at all.
You'll hear nothing but music, and then it will cut in the audio, and all you hear is like room noise, like really loud with the audio.
It's kind of like Birdemic in a way.
Oh, this movie is like I was telling that to somebody today.
Yeah.
Like it's like Birdemic. It's very tough to say this, but like an almost higher quality Birdemic.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Yeah, I agree.
It is a better quality. It was shot on film, believe it or not. It's not a video camera. Although the audio sounds like he just had a Sony Handycam running, being like, oh, we don't need a boom. I mean, just...
It'll sell itself.
So right here, I'm going to play some of the audio that we get in this bedroom scene. It's amazing.
When are you gonna grow up, sweetheart? But I love it.
Happy anniversary, honey.
Thank you, baby. It's beautiful.
So he gives this lady that necklace. So.
And what is that necklace of? 'Cause it looks like two tusks, like bent together, like two ivory.
I have no idea. Knowing John, there's some sort of meaning behind it, but we'll never know.
Yeah.
So then we cut to a restaurant with two people at a table. Do we know, by the way, do we know who this fucking guy was that walked up the stairs or
No.
that woman?
No.
Chris, let me ask you a question. Will we ever see that woman again?
No!
This makes any fucking sense. Will we even see that house again? No.
No!
Do we know what city we're in?
No!
Do we know who that guy was? No. Hell fucking no. We cut to a restaurant where two people are sitting at a table. First time I saw this movie, I thought that was the same guy.
Yeah, so
'Cause
did
how
I.
the fuck do I know?
So did I, yeah.
By the way, they both look very similar.
Which is a terrible casting decision.
Oh, God. And then their names, too. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
So we cut to a restaurant, two people sitting at a table. The audio is so fucking bad in this part.
I'm glad. It is, the sound editing decisions are an enigma in themselves. The scene in which they are in this restaurant having an intimate meal between lines of dialogue, you can hear them try and duck out the ambient noise, and it ends up sounding like the whole place is holding their breath waiting to hear what these two have to say.
Yeah. You hear like, so you just hear this really loud music, which plays over the movie that John must have wrote. But then when they say something, which by the way, sometimes their lips will move and you'll not hear anything, but then you'll hear a line all of a sudden, and it's just like dishes crashing while the line is delivered.
I love you so much, Mina, that sometimes it scares me. You're the first person that I've ever really loved.
It's like you might as well just leave the ambient noise in. It'll make more sense.
I know. It's so bad and distracting.
Yeah, it's like they think he's about to pop the question. Like, hold on, he's no. Everyone get quiet. Everyone stop reading. Silent.
Yeah, I really think it is kind of like what you said. Like everybody's in the restaurants holding their breath in anticipation of what they say next. There's so many parts though where his lips are moving and he's clearly saying something, but then they'll just. I guess John didn't like it, so he just goes, yeah, you know what? Just fucking cut it out.
It didn't sound phonetic enough for me.
Which we'll find this guy, by the way, delivers some lines.
Oh.
It's like, you really couldn't do two takes? Like, so then we immediately cut to a really, really fucking shaky shot of the moon. Like, really, really shaky. And then it zooms out in that real super chick way.
Yeah.
Where we see these two people from the restaurant making out on the beach with clearly, again, one light source just illuminating them.
I thought like the moon was going to collide with the earth. That's how bright this scene is.
Chris, let me ask you a question. Do we know where we are at all in this
Hell no,
movie?
I am guessing.
We don't know any of these people or anything. No. So then we cut to a really, really bad pan on the side of a building, and we just see the words unity.
Yeah.
It makes no sense. Which, by the way, not only do we see the words unity, we also see like half of another word.
Yeah.
Which is
no establishing sense of surrounding.
We have no clue where we are. We'll never see this building again, and nobody's even at the building. So
Maybe he wants us to be disoriented. He wants us to fill in the story for ourselves.
Well, John really does it his own way. That's He said it. So
I mean, later we do see a Pantages sign somewhere, but that's the only way I knew. Maybe we're in LA, I guess. Maybe.
So we cut to a guy smoking a cigarette, which I assume is the man from the very beginning who walked into the house.
And the man from the restaurant.
And then I wrote in my notes, what is going on? We are 5 minutes in. I looked at the timer at this point. 5 minutes in, and I can't tell you what the hell I'm supposed to be thinking. So then we cut to a liquor store robbery. And we cut to it in the best way, where it just cuts to the liquor store and a guy's got an Uzi right at the... There's no establishing shot, by the way. We just got immediately into the liquor store. Yeah. He's got an Uzi pointed at the clerk, and then the camera just pans really fucking fast through the liquor store, and it's like that nauseating tripod movement.
Right.
Like, to this lady sneaking around the back, just looking around. And this is what I wrote. All three of the men that have appeared in this movie so far look exactly the same.
And the women kind of do too.
At first I thought, yeah, they do actually. At first I was like, wait, hold on, is that second guy robbing the liquor store now? Wait, what the Then we cut back to the man smoking. And I wrote, is he the same guy in the store? Like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. Then we cut back to the employee lady creeping through the store.
Because I thought she was like an accomplice, the way she's creeping around. I have
no idea what's going on. No idea.
Oh, no.
Then we cut back to the man with the cigarette looking in shop windows. He's just looking at like a dress through a window. He's just like, yeah, that's nice. Again, what the fuck is happening?
Night in the town.
So then we cut to... There's now two guys robbing the store. One of the guys like jumps over the counter with a bag of money. Then that woman who is creeping around confronts him and is like, what are you doing in my store? She beats up the robber in this amazingly choreographed fight where no kick or punches landed within 1 foot of the person.
It's like the guy she's fighting with is just her sparring partner, and this is one big like assembly at a high school to show self-defense.
It's so amazing when she like kicks him once and he drops the bag, and then she like kind of slowly takes the bag and puts it on the shelf
nicely in the shelf. Like it's all right. This is out of the way. Now we can fight.
Yeah, I don't want you to follow the bag when I spin kick you right here. Are you ready? So then we cut to the guy with the Uzi at the register. He spins around and he goes,
okay, bitch, you were asking for it.
I know he shoots her because there's a sound effect. Yet there's no muzzle flash and there's no wound. And the lady just immediately grabs her heart like she had a heart attack and then just falls over.
Well, I thought she caught the bullet in her hand because her hands are bloody before she hits her hand to her chest. I'm like, oh, she's good.
Oh, and there will be so many gunshots in this movie, and they didn't even bother to give a shit and put in any sort of muzzle flash or anything.
No.
Which, by the way, we used to make things in high school, and we would like, come on. I used to add muzzle flashes to the thing back then, man. It took me 2 minutes, and it looked fine.
They didn't even really shake their hand when they shoot or pull
the
trigger.
No. It's just a guy holds it, and then you hear bang, and then somebody will fall over.
I think like Charlie Chaplin films were more convincing when a gun went off, and those were silent films. This is wow. It pales in comparison, really.
So then we cut to the cigarette guy walking around more. Is he near the store? Can't tell.
Because if he were, you would have heard that gunshot and came running.
I can't tell where he is right now. He's just like crossing a street.
He's in Miami, I think.
Cut back to the robber. Then we cut back to the cigarette guy again. And finally he's at the liquor store. And okay, this is great though. He like walks in sneakily from like way outside, but how did he know that there was a robbery going on? Because he obviously didn't hear the gunshot.
Yeah.
And you can't see in the windows of this liquor store, by the way.
No.
But he immediately starts sneaking around with a gun. Either like he's gonna rob the place, or he's got like ESP or something.
Or he's buying like some really dirty magazines and doesn't want anybody to see him. Don't tell my wife, kind of thing, you know?
Yeah. So he walks into the liquor store and he stops the robbery. I wrote gunshots ? Because I hear the sound and I see a man, which by the way, he shoots this robber, shoots him. And the guy like falls over and he takes so long to die. Like he falls really slowly down like, well, I don't want to hurt myself in this fall. And then his legs are still up and he kind of like flails them a little bit before finally resting him on the ground.
Yeah. Where's that bag of money? Oh, God.
So then we see a really long shot of him arresting the other guy, and we have to go through the whole routine. He's like, all right.
Yeah.
Put your hands behind your back. Okay. Now up on your head. Okay.
Here's your
now,
rights.
Now I'm going to cuff you.
Yeah.
So then we cut to the people from the diner. They're in a house now, which like, again...
So he made. I'm thinking the same guy made a bust right after dinner, and now he's back at home.
Yeah, I have no idea what's going on. Yeah, you're right. Until my second viewing, I didn't realize these were two different men.
Is this before or after the Whiplash panorama of the skyline?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. Like, that's when we finally learn where we are, Chris.
Yeah, okay.
Because we cut to some people randomly in a house. And he just walks in and he gives her some flowers that are obviously just from the table.
Yeah.
He just goes like, oh, hey, these are for you. And she's like, oh, thanks. They're beautiful. This is when we find out his name is Daniel and her name is, I wrote, Mina with a question mark. Because at first he delivers it so softly I couldn't understand. There's still music playing so loudly.
Maybe he didn't know what it was when he was like, Mira Mama.
So then they walk into another room and meet a man that's her father?
Yeah.
Question mark?
Because he looks the same age as Daniel.
Not only the same age, maybe younger.
Growing that beard, we need you to add a few years to your face. You gotta be the father.
I put in my notes, guy is younger than other actor.
If it worked in Miami Connection, it can work in this.
Then we cut to the shot of an LA sunset through the trees.
Okay.
Zoom out. Pan over city, shaky as hell.
And then hold on tree branches that obscure the entire shot.
You can obviously tell that John Rad went up to like Mulholland with a camera at night and was just like, roll it. Got home and they're like, John, the camera is shaking all over the fucking place. He's like, it's great.
Yeah, it's a windy night. What do you expect?
I do it differently. So then we cut to the people making out on the beach again, and I wrote in my notes, I am so confused. I've seen this movie 3 times and I'm still confused. So then we cut back to this house, which, by the way, why did we even need the shot of them making out?
Yeah.
We cut back to the house with her dad, and they say they want to get married, and they ask for his permission. And at one point, you can hear a door open in the background, which I thought was amazing. Like, John must have been filming it at home, and somebody came home.
Quick, hide the gear.
And they're like, the audio got really messed up on that one. Somebody came in. No, it's perfect.
People live here, obviously.
Oh, God. We cut to the guy who stopped the liquor store robbery on the phone talking to Daniel. And his delivery of these lines is just amazing. I'm going to play some of it right here.
I'll stay through the end of the convention, Daniel. I'm supposed to speak again Friday. I'll be back this week's end or early next week. I'll tell you what, I've got some vacation time coming. LAPD can get along without me for a while. That will give us more time to take care of your wedding arrangements. And seriously, congratulations. You're getting a fine woman. I like Mina.
Be careful on the way home, okay? And I'll see you soon.
Okay. See you then, my favorite brother.
Yeah, that is the only establishing relationship we have here.
Yeah, but my favorite part is right after that amazing line, he just smiles really big and then hangs up the phone.
And pause for like 5 solid seconds so we know the call is over.
I wrote in my notes, this is 8 minutes in.
Yeah.
New music starts. Amazing music.
Yeah.
It's really happy and jumpy. We're playing it right now. A couple runs out of the house to this Jeep. And then we cut to a shot of bikers riding. Again, don't know what the fuck is going on. So then we cut to the couple in the car. And the audio in this part is barely audible, but these lines.
Look at that ocean over there. Isn't it absolutely beautiful?
Yeah, it is. I bet you can't guess what's even more beautiful.
Since you are so sure I can't, you just better tell me.
You are!
Amazing dialogue. Again, perfect movie.
Yeah.
So they park, Then we cut to the bikers again. Then we cut to them on the rocks at the beach. Music still playing. Bikers arrive at the beach. Again, if this sounds confusing, trust me, it is. Then the biker pulls up, and one of them starts complaining. He's like, "Oh yeah, I know you're fucking bored, but guess what, buddy? Our luck's about to change." And he points at the couple. So then we cut to a very, very long zoom out of the couple on the rocks. Yeah. Then we cut back to the bikers, and one of them wearing like a hat that looks like some sort of he looks like he's a special needs type of guy with this hat on.
Yeah.
And he just goes woo and does like a jack off motion.
And I think this is the other guy, Beardo, I call him, is wearing like some Civil War Confederacy pants for some reason. Like he got done from the reenactment and decided to go to the beach.
Maybe that's what the hat was, you know. I don't know.
Maybe it was. Yeah.
So then we cut to the couple making out. Then we cut to the bikers magically sitting on the beach now.
Yeah, they're like on the rocks together, like in a beautiful romantic scene.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying that then they cut, like, so you cut to the couple, and then all of a sudden the bikers are now on the beach, like they're in the sand.
Like, did they cut?
I have no idea how they got there.
They always say they walk in front of them or around them. You would have imagined a confrontation might have ensued, but who cares?
This
Who
movie,
knows?
people, places, time, locations, it's all just in John's head. Like, none of it's real. Like, this movie definitely exists in a parallel universe.
Yeah, it's all relative.
So then the couple walks by. The bikers accost them. They start bullying the guy. They want the girl. So many zoom outs is what I wrote. Because every shot starts with a line of dialogue, then zooms out.
Yeah.
Then they go to another shot, zoom out again. I said the 180 rule is continually broken. Mina tells him to get lost. Daniel tells him to get lost. Then the bikers just leave.
Like, hold back. Let him give him a false sense of security.
All right. We'll get lost. So then they kind of walk away, and the bikers go into like some sort of powwow meeting, and they go. The bald guy goes,
"You keep the macho man there busy while I have a little fun with a bitch, and then we'll switch, huh?"
Love it.
Then they walk over and reaccost the couple, and the guy, would you call him Beardo?
Beardo, yeah.
He goes, "Hey, Toothpick. You want to something?" He goes something about. Hey, he calls him, "Hey, Toothpick.
Yeah.
You want to break our necks? How about breaking our bones, all our bones?" And then the bald guy goes, "I got one he can break right here," and points to his dick.
Wow, it's like that's a very indecent proposal.
Yeah. And then Daniel goes, just leave us alone," with this amazing delivery, and it just goes really close to his face and then zooms out again.
Of course it does. Of course it does.
So then the bald biker carries off Mina, and the other guys, Beardo and Daniel, start fighting. The bald biker, like, Mina starts fighting him, and then he just slaps her. And music's still playing, by the way. And it's not what I would call tension music.
No,
it's more just bouncy. Like all the music that John claims he wrote sounds like just some pre-programmed Casio keyboard song.
It does. Like, I'm hearing preset number 4 right now, and then preset 5 will. It's like he just went up and down the line.
Yeah. And then he wrote, "I wrote this. Came out of my keyboard."
Like, kind of spread his fingers down all the buttons like an elevator, going up and down, and just kind of let it roll throughout the rest of the film.
So then Daniel starts winning the fight against Beardo. And the bald biker sees this, and he gets all upset. So he puts his belt back on. He's like, "Oh, God, I can't rape her yet." He runs over, and he just stabs Daniel. And I said, this part's amazing, is he, like, stabs him once, and then we cut to breaking the 180 rule of him about to stab him again. And it's almost like you can hear him go, "and action," because there's, like, a freeze frame of nothing happening.
Yeah.
And then the stab happens again, and he has, like, the blood on his hands and all that.
At least there was sound effect for the stabbing. I'll give him that.
Oh, you know what? I didn't even notice
Oh,
it.
yeah.
I was laughing too hard. So then, he reacts really late to all the stabbing constantly. It's like, stab. Oh! And then after he stabs him a few times, Daniel kind of like walks around the beach going like, "Ah!" Like he's just taking forever to die. And he finally falls on the ground, and he's still wiggling around.
He's milking the fuck out of this.
He's like, "This is the last time I'm going to be seen. I better get it all in."
Yeah.
So then
his demo reel is nothing but cocks and asses and vaginas. So at least we need one death on that demo reel.
So then the bald guy walks over to Beardo, who I guess Daniel has now killed. By just lightly choking him, he's now dead. Yeah. But I love the part because the bald guy walks over, he goes, "Oh, come on, man. Come on.
Oh, come on, man. Come on, don't kill me, man. Come on. Come on, man. Oh, man. Oh, come on. Oh.
Then he walks over. Mina runs over, and she's crying in front of the dead Daniel.
Yeah.
Then the bald guy walks over, and he picks up Daniel's head from the sand, and he goes,
"You son of a bitch. You're lucky you're dead. You killed my only friend.
You killed my only friend." And then he walks away. Then the song with the dialogue comes in. Song with lyrics comes in. The Goodbye My Love song. It swells up. And Mina then runs up to the bald biker, and she says,
Hey! Hey, you! Wait! Hey, Tiger. Why don't you take me with you?
What, are you crazy?
You heard me. I mean it. I'm free now! That jerk isn't around anymore.
What's on your mind, anyhow?
A real man. Wait! I want to go with you.
and this is what the point I wrote. Wait, what? So then they leave together, the song plays, and we zoom into a almost sunset on the beach and hold for a little bit. Any comments at this point, Chris?
So they leave the body.
Oh, both bodies. They're just like, yeah, fuck it.
I mean, they didn't bother to, like, drag him out to the tide, let the tide do the work.
No. This is the world of John Rad. Nobody finds a dead body. Come on.
Unless you were killed by her.
Cut to the motel. Now, a motel. The biker and Mina are about to pay for a room, which is great because we have to watch the entire scene of them getting a room.
Everything that requires a transaction is shown in full. Whether it's renting a car,
yes.
ordering food, ordering a drink, renting a room, the entire transaction from the moment the wallet is taken out to the keys handed over, it's painfully.
Yeah, you would think like they could have just had the keys being handed over, but no, he goes, it cuts to them in the motel. He goes, yes, I'd like a room, please. And then the motel manager, that'll be $50. Okay. Also, is there anywhere to eat? Yeah, the hotel restaurant's really great. Great. Also, I'd like a wake-up call for 5:30 a.m. We'd like to get an early start.
Also, what time is breakfast?
And by the way, you can barely even hear this dialogue over the music. The music is so fucking loud at this point with lyrics in it that it's impossible to hear what they're saying. I had to turn on the subtitles to get all this.
You had subtitles. I didn't.
So what do you do after your fiance is killed and you've run off with his murderer?
You have sex with your murderer.
Well, no. Go to dinner.
Well, at least buy him dinner first, yes.
So I love this part where they cut to the dinner table, which is just obviously a table they placed near this hotel front desk because there's no fucking restaurant here.
No, I think they even like maybe put a curtain up, maybe. I don't think so.
No. Because this is the best part is they cut to the table and you can tell that the rest of the motel is there and you can see a man checking in, and I think that was a real guy just checking in while they were filming this. So I love this part though because they walk in, they sit down at the dinner table, and then they're immediately served dinner.
Yeah.
It's like they didn't order nothing. Like this is the one where you don't see a transaction take place.
Yeah.
And it makes no sense. Because it's this horrible cut of them sitting, and then we like literally cut to the same shot of a waitress then bringing the food, and the waitress like just gets in a few lines. She's like, "Here's yours, and oh yeah, you got the Coke and you got
the beer." Yeah.
Thank you. Now get your beers and your soda.
Of all information we need, scratch any information we need about the characters. We need to know what they ordered.
It's like the waitress lady just said. The actor's just like, I'm only going to be in this if I get a line.
Yeah.
So then Mina says, you know something, Tiger? You really turned me on. And he just kind of looks at her and he goes, I get an old rise out of you myself. The music's still playing. He eats fries with a fork, which I thought was pretty amazing. And then we cut to what they're actually eating, which is an incredibly rare steak, which looks basically not done.
Yeah.
In the slightest.
Yeah.
Steak and fries, which is an interesting combo, I thought.
It's a delicacy for John Rad where he comes from, I'm sure.
This part I did not understand, Chris, is Mina brings her plate over to the edge of the table, and then she takes her fork and stabs into the plate, and it just falls onto her.
No.
And she goes, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean it."
Because I thought this was a strategic move to get a piece of the plate to stab him with later. That's what I thought.
No. This makes no... Oh, I just fucking got it.
Okay.
Is that where she gets the knife?
Fuck. And she sticks it in her
Third
ass.
time watching this fucking movie and discussing it, and I finally got that scene. Because it makes no sense. She stabs the plate with a fork.
Yeah.
It falls on the ground, and she goes, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean it." And then it just cuts to a close-up of him going, "Yeah, it's okay."
Mm-hmm.
And then we cut to them walking up the stairs. He must have not put it in, but this is obviously where she gets the knife.
Yeah. They could have cut back to under the table for fumbling with a knife and
or him looking down, cleaning up, and then she no. We're just supposed to infer that. On the third fucking time I see this movie, I finally understand why she did that.
It would be great if it's in her ass the whole time, like Kim and Malibu High with that money.
Oh yeah. Well, we'll find out soon.
Yeah.
And this is what I wrote in my notes. What is happening? What the fuck is going on? So then we cut to a shot of them walking up to the room. He says something, can't hear it. They're walking up these stairs. He's just like,
Super Chick had better audio than
this.
Oh,
way better. Then they get into the room, and he says something like, "All right, show me your stuff."
Yeah.
She says, "I want to take a shower first."
You stay here and get ready. I'll be back before you know it. Sweet as a piece of cake.
Amazing delivery. I could not understand that last line until I put on the subtitles for it. Sweet as a piece of cake. Song's still playing. So then she starts to shower. Cut to the biker. He says, "Thanks, baby," and then starts licking a bloody knife. The same knife that he used to kill her fiance
and it's
earlier.
uncomfortably long because he goes at it from both sides. Then he has to stop, kind of pats it down, and keeps licking it.
He licks it 5 times.
Is this an actor choice or a character choice?
And it still has blood on it. It gets blood all in his
Yeah.
mouth, and I'm like, whoa, there is in no world that is sanitary or okay.
Yeah.
Why even make that decision? What?
It's like the evidence. He has a murder weapon with him, the DNA, again.
Well, he's got to get rid of it, What better way to get rid of the evidence than to just eat it?
Ingest it, yeah.
So then the song from the credits starts playing, the theme song. The biker walks around in his underwear a little bit, which is... Really wish we didn't have to see that.
Better than naked, I'll give him that.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Which, by the way, every man that gets naked in this movie wears, the worst, just regular tighty whitey type underwear you've ever seen.
I feel like they all shared it. They only had one pair throughout the film. That's all they could afford.
BP, yeah. So then he puts his ear to the door. We cut to an empty running shower for a long time. We cut to the water going at the bottom of the tub, and then slowly pan up to the shower, and then a really 1 second shot of Mina looking in the mirror. So it's
because
shower.
I thought she
Mina
snuck out the window at first because there was nothing there for the longest time.
Why even turn on the shower?
Oh.
So then the biker's sitting on the bed.
I mean, how long does it take to put a knife in your ass? Come on.
Well, she comes out, and I wrote perfectly dry in a dry towel.
Yeah.
And she has
dry.
permed up hair,
Yeah.
so the fact that it's not wet apparently doesn't arise any suspicion in this guy. But then she stops at the door and she goes,
All right.
Now, when I come over to you, I want you to rub my knees lightly. At the same time, lick my belly button.
Come on, get in bed.
Remember, first my knees, then my belly button.
Oh.
Then we watch him do this request, which is Very uncomfortable.
It's almost like he's using the Crown International playbook of lovemaking at this point, because it's a lot of the same kind of weird.
It's so much worse, though.
Yeah,
it's
it is
so much fucking
it
worse.
Is.
So then, while he's doing the routine, and we actually see the rubbing of the knees, the licking of the belly button, she goes into this murderous rage. And what happens, Chris?
Well, we're gonna cut to some cleavage, but not of the top. We're cutting to like the ass cleavage, and there is a knife strategically positioned in her ass cheeks. Like, hey, for her to come
Must
out
be from dinner.
Yeah, from dinner that we have finally put together, literally like 5 minutes ago. So for her to walk out with that knife in there, she kind of had to do this like closed cheek, closed thigh, unless it was like
I didn't see her like waddling around. Otherwise, she shoved that knife blade up her ass.
Keistered in the most delicate way possible, with like a plastic bag, but it's back there. She kind of gingerly retrieves it, and
you would think Meg maybe keep it in the towel, like maybe she doesn't drop the towel yet, or
I would have put the towel in my hair and then put the knife and the towel in my hair,
or have her hold it behind her back. But it just magically, like you see her ass, and then it just magically appears in her hand. Like, well, we don't see her pull it out of it, but we can only assume that's where it came from.
She kind of like grunted, and then it appears like, and then a popping sound, and there it is.
So the music still plays, by the way, as she murders him. Then we cut to, in a really awkward cut, of her dress standing over his dead body, and she goes,
"You son of a bitch. Did you actually think I was going to let you get away with killing the most important thing in my life? Well, you're wrong. You're dead wrong. From now on, all trash like you is going to end up dead. No matter what I have to do or what I have to lose."
And I wrote, who is she talking to? Is she at this point talking to the audience? Like, what the fuck is going on?
It's a monologue. It's like written for the stage at this point.
So then she leaves. She sneaks away in the parking lot, and she's now immediately on a country road. Well, that's what happens.
Yeah.
Then the motel manager calls for a wake-up call. He sends in the maid. He's like, come over here. Which the maid, by the way, is also the waitress, apparently.
Yeah.
He's like, come on over. She's like, oh, what's wrong? And he's like, they're not answering their wake-up call. Can you go check on them? What happens, Chris?
She goes in there, opens the door, knocks, and we get this really weird cut because she opens the door. Her head is turned towards the door the entire time she opens it. She doesn't even bother to like look towards the room until the door is completely closed behind her. So then she sees it, screams. We cut to the shot of him, cut to a shot of her, and then the scream is really off sync. It's obviously edited in later. And then she runs out. And it's funny because the stab wounds on his back don't match the amount of time she stabbed him. Again, who gives a shit? But
these are details, Chris, that you're just nitpicking.
I know.
It's a perfect movie.
It's just frame by frame flawless. They ran out of Smucker's jelly to rub on his back.
So we cut to a shot of Mina running down a country road in the day now.
Yeah.
But this is my favorite part, is it cuts back to the hotel manager for no reason, and he's on the phone, he goes, yeah, I'll do that. And I wrote, do what? Wait, what? Who is he talking to? What the fuck does that have to do with anything? We cut to Mina hitchhiking on the road, this country road she immediately got to, and she gets into a truck. But then it immediately cuts to this insane shot of her sneaking around her father's living room while her dad's reading a book. So he's reading a book, and she's like near the coffee table on her knees.
On all fours.
Yeah, on all fours. And again, at this point, I wrote quote dad question mark. She sneaks up right next to him, pops up while he's reading the book, shuts it, and goes meow. And his only response is he goes, Mina. Like, not even really enthusiastic. He's like, what are you doing? Like, what the fuck is going on?
Meow! Mina!
Then we blur cut to her When I say blur cut because it's just like blurs out.
Yeah, it's like
in the same room, by the way. In the same room that just happened, we just blur into now 3 people are in the room
lying on a
sitting
couch
there.
and just.
Which, by the way, why even have that part with the book? Why did they shoot that? We blur cut to her, Daniel, and the dad sitting there, and Mina asks if they can make dinner. Then we cut to them eating dinner, so it's like, why not just have the dinner? And then the dad just goes, I would be proud to have you as a son. Which I finally was like, it's her dad.
There we go.
Younger than her fiance. I was thinking at first, like, maybe it's her ex-boyfriend.
The live-in ex. Yeah, can break out of the lease.
Yeah, we need your permission. Then we cut back into this truck. Creepy guy driving, dressed in a business suit. He looks at her and he goes,
Yes. Why should I pass up this kind of an opportunity? She's God's gift to a hand-picked husband.
What?
I didn't get that one either.
I had to turn on the subtitles for that one. Then he pulls out a handgun from his window visor.
I mean, if you hit a bump, that thing's flying out, discharging, probably.
Yeah. Which, okay, at this point, and we do learn it's loaded, by the way.
Yeah.
And the safety's not on.
Like, where's this guy coming from, and where is he going?
Well, we're going to learn, like, way too much about this guy.
Yeah.
Way too much about him. Which, by the way, now we've deposited that in the world of John Rad, if you're a woman alone and you get with another man, he's going to try and rape you. It's a guarantee.
Yeah.
So he pulls out the handgun, he pulls off the road and parks, but it takes a long time to park. Like, we watch him, like, kind of slowly creep down the road for a good minute or two, then finally parks. He starts petting her hair, and he points the gun at her. She wakes up and she goes, "Oh no." And he goes, "Oh yes." "Oh yes, I'm going to have some fun with you." Which, by the way, he has like this bizarro, like, I wouldn't say British, kind of British, but like a rich man accent.
Yeah, like a Thurston.
He's like,
Howell.
Yes, I'm going to have some fun with you.
Yes, your breasts will be in my hands tonight.
And then she goes, "Didn't you tell me you have a loving wife and family? Why? I thought you were a decent man." And he goes, "This has nothing to do with being decent." And he tells her to take off her clothes. And then all of a sudden she flips the switch again. Which a woman might get raped when she's alone. But also, a woman can always seduce a man by flipping the switch with the Stockholm Syndrome and the rapist and get him on their side. Yeah. She goes, "Take it easy. I'm just kidding. I've always been attracted to older men." And I said, he falls for it, of course. She tells him to take his clothes off, and then this insane music starts playing with this bass line, which I was like, John's on a roll. It's like he sat down in front of the final cut and then just like recorded his Casio while the movie was going on.
Yeah.
And they're like, "You want to do anything else?" "No." Good to go. She tells him to take his clothes off. And do you remember what happens after that?
Well, then she tells him to move over to her side, because if the steering wheel's not in the way, there's a lot more room. We can have some fun. I mean, naturally, yes. And then, oh God. And then she tells him, like, "Oh, you still got that gun in that hand. I can stop pointing that gun." He's like,
"Yeah, put it down."
Yeah. And then,
then she grabs his dick.
Yeah, she's gonna make a grab for the old,
she grabs his
old
dick
one
and
eye, and she, for some reason, she has scissors. Right? Or is it a knife?
It's the knife.
It's still the knife? Okay.
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought it was scissors.
She grabs his Mr. One Eye and holds a knife to it. We get like a really odd close-up of the boxers.
Yeah. Oh, they're full-on briefy McBrieferson.
Yeah. Which, thank God he's not wearing the underwear like all the other guys.
Yeah.
And she goes,
"Take your hands off me! I'm gonna cut the bloody thing off! Drop it in your lap and watch your slow, painful death!"
He apologizes, asks for forgiveness for the sake of his family and children.
Who he will never tell about this.
No. Then she lets him go. The music gets weirder. And I put, this is where it really sounds like just weird stock music. She points the gun at him and says, "Now you get naked." And then she tells him to run away, and she's like, faster, faster, and fires the gun at him.
I would have been great if she accidentally hit him. He just kind of falls down dead. She's like, shit.
That would have been great. So then she steals the truck and just leaves him wandering the desert naked. And I write, now this man becomes a character.
Yeah.
Why? For the next 5 minutes, we're going to just follow this guy around.
With 2 branches he's holding up very strategically, thank God. And
So-
he's going to be hiding next to in some bushes and waiting for a vehicle.
We just see him wandering around this desert
Yeah.
he grabs those 2 leaves and places it over his junk and everything. Yeah. And he's just muttering these random lines to himself. He's like, oh my God, what were you thinking? At one point, he looks at his dick and he says, it's your bloody fault. I should have let her cut you off.
Yeah, and he's trying to like find out a way to explain. I'll say, yeah, she held me at gunpoint. Yeah, she tried to rape me. And then trying to reverse it.
Not yet, because
Okay.
then we cut to Mina driving the truck, and she just starts crying, and she's like, I can't believe this is happening. And it's finally like, well, at least she realizes this is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
But no, then Chris, you'd think like, maybe we're going to get back to the movie. No. Cut back to the old man naked, just muttering. And then, yes. Well, he eventually... okay, do you remember this part? When he stops muttering,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden...
Is he gonna break into song at this
Yes.
point? Yeah, he starts flailing his arms about and like
Singing,
switching
like,
off between
doing
the front and the
ballet.
back. Yeah, doing ballet, switching off with his arms front and back. Like
It's something like he's singing like the Nutcracker or something. He's like,
dun, dun,
and he's just dancing around and doing it.
and flipping and twirling and.
You're crazy. He's crazy. She's crazy. It's crazy. We're crazy. Nothing to do out here but dance. La, la, ra, rum, dum, 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 da, ra, 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 rum, dum, dum, yum, dum, ya, ra, 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 rum, yum, 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 ya, ra, 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 rum, yum, 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 yum.
I think this is after the van stops and they kind of this van pulls up and harasses him.
No, not yet.
Oh, not
we
yet.
cut back to Mina again. She's driving and crying. She keeps flashing back to all the bad moments that happened. Then she just falls onto the wheel out of desperation, and the car starts swerving.
Well, even before that, several times she's on the wrong side of the road.
Oh, yeah. So then we think maybe we'll get back to the movie. Nope.
Let's
Cut
not.
back to the old guy in the desert, still wandering around muttering. And by the way, this goes on forever. And he just always says what's going on. He goes, oh, there's a road. I'll go over to the road. Oh, watch me walk down this hill to the road. And then he goes down to the road, of course. And he starts talking about how he never finishes anything he starts and calling himself a fool. And I just wrote again, who is he talking to? All the actors talk to the camera almost like you're a character. It's like John Rand wrote this as like a play or something.
Yeah,
Like,
I thought
we
the
have to
same
hear
thing.
the inner dialogue.
Yeah.
So then he starts wondering out loud how he can explain this to his family. Do you remember any of these?
Yeah, that's when he says, "Oh, let's see. She held me at gunpoint. Oh, she tried to rape me. Yes, yes, yes. And I somehow got away. And that's his.
Yeah, and then he goes, and I wrote after he says that when he like tells himself he's like yes, yes, but then I escaped, and I wrote no, no, it's not gonna work. Then a van pulls up. And he's like, oh, give me a ride. And these guys just laugh at him, throw an empty beer can, and then they throw a plastic bag at him, and they go, why don't you try this on? And then drive away. Then we cut to Mina coming home to her dad, which I don't even understand this part. She says something about how she loves him and how he needs to let her go and live her life where it leads her. And I just wrote, what?
Yeah.
Like, wait, what is going on right now? Did she even tell him that Daniel died or anything?
Yeah, like the fiance is now out of the picture. Like the dad didn't ask, "Oh, how's Daniel doing?"
No, you don't find out any of this. By the way, we have to watch a man check into a fucking hotel, ask for a wake up call, but we don't have the time to even have the scene where she reveals that her fiance is dead to her father. Oh, I forgot your Coke and a beer. I'll be right back. So then, does the dad ask any questions? No. None at all. He just gives her some stuff and he goes, here's your saving account password. And I wrote, what the fuck is going on? Mina leaves and jogs down the street really slowly. She just starts jogging down the sidewalk. And we just got to come between a shot of that and her dad just staring straight by the camera and then her just jogging. And I wrote, her dad couldn't even give her a ride? Like, where is she going?
Wherever is she going? Like, that's my girl.
And then I write, now the movie changes.
Oh, yeah, dramatically.
Now we get a completely different movie.
I think we're in like the next decade, actually, is when production on this part of the movie started.
Cut to African-American cop, who we're just going to call Black Cop for now because they don't give him a name yet, in a horribly lit police office. And it's like just as bad as all the rest of the lighting. One light source, giant shadows on the wall. How do we know he's a cop, Chris? Because it says the line, I've been spending most of my time working on the case. Mm-hmm. Amazing delivery of lines, by the way. He's going to
say it again to his significant other on the phone.
Oh, I can't wait for that part.
Yeah.
So then we zoom out to see Daniel's brother, who we still don't know his name. I'm going to clue you in. It's David. Yep. We don't learn that until about another 20 minutes. Black Cop says he's searching for Mina. And I wrote, the phone cord is clearly wrapped around the phone and not plugged into a wall. Then we cut to the most useless fucking scene of Mina walking into a car rental agency. And this amazing music starts to play. And the car rental guy delivers these lines so amazingly bad.
Yeah.
Good evening, miss. May I help you?
I want to rent a car.
Oh, great. Please fill this contract out and sign it.
Guess what? We watch her fill out that contract.
We watch the entire routine of how you rent a car from start to finish.
We can't explain, oh God, Dad, Daniel's dead. Some bikers killed him. No. Don't have time. So we watch her fill out the contract and then cut. Didn't even need it. Cut to African-American woman in bed holding a phone. She says,
Babe, today's the last day of my vacation time. And I only saw you once.
I love you, baby, but I'm a cop. I have no control over my time.
I have no control over my time. She gets upset and says she wants to see him. Then do you remember this part? She hangs up the phone.
And then we're going to cut to the most...
Well, hold on. She hangs up the phone, dives face first into the bed, and then starts like kind of hitting it a little bit.
Like just kind of pounding, like where you wouldn't usually pound a pillow, but just pounds the mattress.
Yes. And it looks like a mistake when she dove into the bed. Like she kind of like falls so hard on her face that her head bounces back up. So then, Chris, we cut to the shot of the black cop looking blankly while holding the phone, and then what do we cut to?
It's gonna cut to him in kind of these striped boxers that are purple and black, and he's behind this African American woman who is now naked, topless, burying everything.
Which, by the way, you just don't want to see anybody that's naked in this movie naked.
Yeah, and just kind of caressing her and kissing her. And
this goes on for a while.
It goes on for uncomfortably long. You don't know if this is the foreplay or the ending.
Then we cut.
You don't know if it's the refractory period.
No. Then we cut from that to Mina driving around LA at night, and I wrote in my notes there was definitely no permit because they only have the camera in the car.
Yeah.
And you can see the Pantages Theater.
Yeah.
She pulls up to a hooker, picks her up. The hooker goes like, oh, you're a cop. And then it does, did you notice this? Voiceover of Mina, but it's a completely different person.
Yeah.
It's not her voice at all.
Nope.
In fact, the person who does the VO sounds like a different culture entirely. Like from a different country.
Yeah.
You're a cop, aren't you?
No, I'm not.
Hi, I'm Susan.
My name's Mina.
Can I be of any help to you?
Yeah. Can I buy some of your time?
As long as I get paid, it makes no difference to me whether it's a man or a woman.
Cut to hotel room. Mina and the hooker. They walk in. The hooker says it's a nice place. She starts to undress. Mina's surprised. She goes, "What are you taking your clothes off?" "Why the fuck do you think?"
Yeah.
The hooker says she thinks she knows what. Oh, she's like, "Oh, I know what you want." She goes, "Here, take off your pants." And she's like, Mina goes, "What the hell are you talking about?" And the hooker finally realizes, again, somebody else who realizes the insanity going on here goes, "Why am I here? You're crazy." And Mina goes, "No, you're crazy."
We have this back and forth of who belongs there and why.
So then she goes, "I just want to talk. This is all a misunderstanding." And they're like, she goes, "What do you want to talk about?" So I sit down. She goes, "I want to know about your job. You see, I want to be one of the girls of the night."
Ladies of the night, yes. So it's like, it feels like one of those, your senior year career day project.
Yeah.
Where you meet up with someone who you want to be. This is the night before it's due.
I found this lady outside of Pantages Theater.
She brought her in for show and tell.
So she seems very excited to learn about hooking.
Yep.
She's like, "I want to learn where to work, who you're afraid of, the police, customers, drug dealers."
The worst people are.
Yeah. And then, Chris, this hooker gives the monologue of her lifetime, which I can do no justice to, so I'm just going to play it right here.
Let her roll.
Risks. Dangerous streets. My customers, drug dealers, pimps. Who am I afraid of? What might happen to me? It's everywhere. Everybody and everything. I could be killed at any time. Any place.
Please.
I want to go home.
Amazing.
Yep.
And you have to see this clip because the way it is delivered is just, perfect. And you couldn't have asked for any more. So then we cut.
Maybe some acting ability, but that's about it.
Oh, best delivered monologue, I think, acting 101 class. By the way, this was the woman's only credit.
Yeah.
So then we cut to the police station, and I put, this is clearly the exact same shot and setup as before when we were in the police station of Black Cop and Daniel sitting, and African-American cop is on the phone, and Daniel's listening, and then he hangs up the phone, and he goes, "They searched Mina's house. They haven't found anything." So that was fucking useless. Then we cut to Mina sitting in bed in an apartment, and I put, not with the hooker, but it's very confusing because I don't know what the fuck's going on, and she's just laying up in bed looking at the ceiling, and she's going to talk to us, the audience, again. And she says, and by the way, this is not done in voiceover. The actors actually say these lines.
Yeah.
"For now on, I'll just be another one of the girls working the streets, but definitely not like them." Cut to shot of Mina petting the hooker's hair as she cries. Then we cut back to her in the bed, and she turns off the light, and she goes, "The real Mina will do what she has to do."
Anal?
Mina drives. Then we cut to Mina driving around LA. Amazing music plays. They pass by this fast food diner place, and this man stares right down the barrel of the lens. Like, and I wrote, I don't think he knew he was in a movie.
No.
I really don't. They zoom into like this super blurry shot of him smiling and her like beckoning him over. They come Katrina,
like waving to
this
him.
man didn't know he was in a movie.
No.
When they pull up, he looks into the lens.
And he's obviously a Marine because he's wearing a Paris Island shirt with a Marine insignia.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah. So her first victim is actually a Marine.
Yeah, and victim because we cut to a silhouette shot, which we'll see multiple of the same type of her just stabbing this guy. Again, why does this man have to die? She picked him up.
Yeah. Exactly.
Which, by the way, I've never seen a hooker that picks up the men. Which she's got this all wrong. She's got the They're just like, oh, great, some woman's picking me up. Oh, God, I'm getting murdered. This man was just eating a burger. Like,
he's like, this is like the best night of his life.
He's like, oh, great, I just got out of boot camp. I'm here in LA. I'm eating a burger.
Oh my God, California girls.
Somebody's filming me for this movie.
Now I'm getting laid.
Look at me. I just got to LA and now I'm in a movie. Then we cut from that to the beach, and this is when Chris said there's no lyrics. Oh, not only are there lyrics, Chris, a new song starts with singing. And the words to the lyrics of this song are written in the sand. Waves crash over them as Mina sits in front of them.
My love, splendors of the moment, with you, unforgettable.
She picks up a shell. Do you remember what happens next?
I don't want to.
Oh, God. Cut to Mina and Daniel in the driveway of their house. They're by the Jeep. She runs up to him and surprises him with a gift.
I can't.
And she goes,
"This is for you. I made it myself from seashells."
Beautiful.
He takes it and he holds it for a while and he shrugs and he goes, beautiful. And this gift, by the way, is the most hideous fucking thing I've ever seen.
Okay, I made gifts in kindergarten that were more impressive than this. I made macaroni on a string.
This is like macaroni art with seashells. So fucking bad. And it's huge, by the way. It's like a good 3 feet long, and she hands this thing to him. Beautiful.
It's like
he can't even say beautiful, by the way. He says it, he goes, beautiful.
I don't think Ariel from The Little Mermaid would use this to cover her breasts.
So then we cut back to the beach. Mina's still sitting there holding the shell. She gets up and she throws it into the sand. And that's when I wrote, we now have a new woman playing the part of Mina.
Me too.
So apparently,
yes,
10 years into making this movie,
yeah.
He couldn't get the original actress for Mina anymore. So they filmed a few extra scenes with a lady who's like uncredited as other Mina. And you can clearly tell it's a different lady. She has the same type of permy hair, but it's not the same lady. It's not the same voice, and it's close. I mean, I give him credit. It was close.
Yeah, it kind of almost slipped by me the first time.
It's not her.
Something seemed off.
There's no way it's her.
No.
So then we cut to new Mina. She gets in the car. She tries to start the car, and she goes, what a time to run out of gas. It's like, when it says empty.
Yeah. And you're kind of trying to skip town. You got cops after you. Don't bother filling up the gas.
It's a rental. I don't want to fill it up. Yeah. So, which, by the way, I just realized this. She gets a rental car, but when she goes to pick up all those men to kill them, she's driving a truck.
Well, maybe she's getting
Wait,
different
what
vehicles.
the fuck? Wait, hold up.
Maybe
Hold
she's
up
just
a
getting
second.
different vehicles to, keep the red herring thing going, Like
I
they're
don't
looking
think
for
so.
one car, now they're looking for
Why
a truck.
would she rent the car? And then why would she use the truck that she'd been driving around in that she stole from that guy, the naked guy in the desert, to do all the murdering? That doesn't make any sense because he would report the truck stolen.
Yeah, he would have. Well, maybe he would have.
Why even rent the car? Why did she run away from her dad's house like she had no car?
Why not just go to the police? It would have ended all her problems.
Oh, Lord. Yeah. Hey, police. Yeah, my fiance's dead.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll go contact his brother, who's a cop.
Like within minutes of him dying, instead of, hooking on to the biker that killed him.
Yeah.
And causing, she just...
Chris, don't ask
I'm
questions.
not,
It's
I'm
perfect.
stopping.
John says it's perfect.
I'm done. I'm stopping.
So
I'm giving up.
Then a new man comes to pick up Mina. And I put, this is again new Mina.
Yeah.
She says something horribly inaudible on PCH. I can't understand what she's saying. All we can hear is traffic behind her. She gets in the car. Then I love this. We cut to a shot of the car clearly not moving. No. She delivers a line. She goes, "What are you driving off the road?" Then the car starts rolling. And then the man goes, "Shut up." Then they drive really, really slowly to an edge of a cliff. And she goes, "Why are you stopping here?" And he goes, "Look, you can make this a lot easier on both of us. We'll have a little fun and I'll take you where you want to go." Again, you can never get into a car in John Rad's world without getting raped. So then she's like something about, and I put, "This world is horrible."
It's awful.
Then she just pulls out, she's like, "Oh, you really want to do this? You really want to do this?" And then just pulls out a gun and shoots him.
Yeah, just no chance. Well, the thing that bothered me, so she's gonna roll the car off the cliff, but leave the body. Why not do the other thing? Why not do it the other way around? So you have a car and throw the body off the cliff. Yeah.
She rolls the car off the cliff, and we see the shot of the car just rolling down a hill,
and followed by a spectacular explosion that by all means would never have happened in this universe by a vehicle rolling down a hill. Rolling down a hill, not falling, but rolling down a hill.
This is like if you've ever seen Ed Wood, where he's like, "Oh, I'm just gonna cut from this octopus to
stock footage."
Stock footage.
Yeah,
it's like the explosion from the title credits comes back. And we just see the car roll down the hill, and then boom, this explosion. And I wrote in my notes, it's almost as if John Rad thought that if you pushed a car down a hill, it would explode. Like, he's just like, "I've seen it 1,000 times. You push it down the hill, it explodes." And then when it didn't, it's like, "Oh, fuck."
Maybe in Iran, maybe. I don't know how their cars are made.
Then we cut to a shot that makes no sense. A cop car going down the street of L.A. Then cut to Mina picking up another man to kill. This is just like in Plan 9 from Outer Space.
Yeah.
When it's like the exact same shot, by the way.
It is.
It's like you cut to that bad thing happening, and then you cut to a cop going down the street.
Little signals. Yeah, lights blaring.
So then we cut to Mina picking up another man to kill. Kills him in the silhouette fashion. Then she picks up more men, kills him again. And by the way, none of these men deserve it. Again, she goes and picks them up.
Yeah. What did they do to deserve it? They're not beating her.
At this point, she figures all men just are going to rape women, so I might as well go save other women. Yeah. So then we cut to a shot of cop cars driving down the street again. We cut to a shot of cops driving down the street, okay?
Yeah.
A cop car stops. 2 cops get out with guns drawn. Then we cut to a shot of a plane taking off. And I wrote, "What the fuck is going on?"
Did you notice every time they show a cop car, like the lights on the top are from different eras?
Oh, they're definitely like an old rented car, and it must have been cheap. Oh, yeah. Like one's 80s, one's 90s, one's 2000s.
Yeah. One's like probably an LED strip at one point. We probably won't be able to tell.
But why did they even have the plane taking off? Why did they have these cops getting out of the cars with guns? I was just like, wait, what is going on?
I feel like John found all this footage, is like, "Oh, I got to use this somewhere," and just put it in there to make it be more spectacular.
I thought like, oh, okay, somebody's on the run.
Yeah.
No. Because then we cut to a new character sitting at a desk, and he's talking into a cordless phone.
Yeah. Enter the chief.
Yeah, and I put, he is reading his lines from a script on the table. It is clearly a script because his lines are in yellow highlighter. Yeah. And he's like looking down at it the whole time. And he talks to Daniel's brother on the phone, which we now learn his name is David, finally. And he says, "You can't investigate the murder of your brother." And then, so you remember how they do this scene? So it cuts from the chief to like this almost B-roll shot of Daniel talking on the phone.
Yeah.
From the beginning of the movie. Yeah. And the person who does the audio for him in this scene is not Daniel.
No.
It's just some guy standing next to the chief.
Like off screen. Yes. And it sounds like it's like bouncing off the wall from like a
you
corner.
can barely hear it.
Yeah.
They didn't re-record it at all. It's like they recorded it on set and they're like, "Yeah, it's good enough. I can hear him."
Yeah, like cup your hand over your mouth and talk like this. It sounds like you're on the phone.
David, You're not trying to tell me that you're going to investigate the murder of your brother. You can't do that. Especially you. You're too close to the case.
McClain is in charge.
That's no answer.
My brother was murdered. His fiancée is missing. What do you want me to do? Sit on my thumbs and wiggle my toes?
David, I understand how you feel, but you gotta stay out of this.
Then we cut to newspapers being printed about the murder. Then we cut to some woman sitting behind a very fake news desk.
Oh, it's made out of butcher paper. And,
God, it was like in his house or something. Yeah. Horribly lit.
Again, with the lighting.
Yes.
I'm amazed. Well, I think right after they said cut, it all caught fire and burned down the sets.
And I noticed that the logo says JMI TV. I was trying to figure out what that meant.
Yeah, because the way it looks, it's almost like the Al Jazeera.
It does
thing.
Look like Al Jazeera. It looks like definitely Iranian inspired.
Yeah.
So then she says something about the murders going on across the city. We cut to it's now in a TV set, and Mina's watching it, and she just walks around her room and she goes, and this is original Mina, by the way.
Yeah, with her hands on her head, pacing back and forth.
Yeah, and she goes,
Known assailant, there is a high probability that that assailant is a woman. Now this.
Oh my God! They're getting closer and closer every day.
They're getting closer and closer every day. Cut to African American cop. Same shot as always.
Yeah,
him and Daniel.
Stuck in that fucking cubicle, in that fucking wall.
Him and David. He tells David that Mina might be the one killing these guys. David says, if Mina killed the biker, she must have done it in self-defense, and she couldn't be a serial killer. The other cop says, who knows? Besides, you're supposed to be on vacation. And God knows you need a rest from all this. Then David walks away, and then this part, the cop goes, David, and then we slowly pan until the cop's in the middle of the frame. It's like a good 30 seconds.
Yeah, at least.
It goes, David, stay away from the biker. Stay away from the bikers. Don't go looking for any trouble.
David. Stay away from the bikers. Don't go looking for any trouble.
Cut to shots of bikes lined up inside a bar. We go into the bar with the espresso machine.
Okay, the music playing in this bar, it's like the music you hear in the lobby of a Marriott. It goes nowhere near a biker bar.
It's again Casio keyboard music. And I bet there's a nauseating pan around the room.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
God, it makes you sick. It's so bad. David buys a beer. We show a shot of a woman playing darts. Bikers notice her. David orders another beer, even though his first beer is clearly not even halfway done.
How does it pay? With a $100 bill.
Yeah, he goes, keep the change. And the bartender responds with, this is your second $100 bill. Or he goes, this is your second $100 in beer. What gives? Something's up with the first 100, I think. Like, do people just regularly walk in, buy a beer with a $100 bill and go, keep the change? He's like, yeah, see it all the time.
Weekend outsiders, you know?
$95 tip, thank you very much. You tourists.
Yeah. Oh, the customs.
So then he pulls out a picture and asks, do you know him? And we cut to a really blurry picture of the beardo biker. Okay, and this next part I'm wondering if you noticed, because I never noticed this until the third watch. The bartender says, you're nuts if you're looking for any of these guys. They're crazy.
Yeah.
You know, that guy's dead. When they find out somebody killed one of their own, they're going to come after you. He goes, his name was Lou. And he goes, did Lou have any family?
No, I
And he
didn't catch
goes,
that.
His son, a bigger bastard than Lou, he goes by the name of Black Pepper. Deals drugs, and he's killed more men than the Nam War.
Yeah, I heard that one. I was like...
So, hold up.
His son, a bigger bastard than Lou. He goes by the name of Black Pepper, deals drugs, and he's killed more men than the Nam War.
Black Pepper is supposed to be the kid of the Beardo guy from the beginning, which I did not get until this watch, and I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Black Pepper is almost the same age, if not older, than that guy. Like, again, with these fathers and sons and daughters that are just...
Because they all look like bandmates.
Is everybody adopted in this world? Yeah. What the fuck is going on? He could have said brother.
I would have bought brother easily.
He should have said, oh, it's his brother. He said his son. Unless maybe John Rad was like, well, the first part of that movie took place in the 80s. Now we're in the 90s. So, you know. So then we cut back to darts. And I put, this lady at the darts is really bad.
Yeah. She keeps like knocking the last dart out with the next dart. And the guys are taking notice, and they're...
Oh, yeah, so we cut to the bikers. Do you have any of these lines written down? They're amazing.
Hey, bro, check out that bitch, man. She's fine. I'm gonna bang that.
I hear you, bro. Go for it.
She's hot, man.
Then we zoom randomly. Then we cut to a shot of a really out of focus guy, and he just goes,
she's hot.
Then we cut to the biker tussling with the woman, and she leaves through this door. Okay?
Yep.
Now this door is like a magical portal into another world. It's like a fucking Narnia door.
It's a closet.
Because look at that a bit. So she leaves through the door, and the biker just goes to his friends and goes, I'm gonna get that bitch, man. Then we cut to a shot of the woman in a very odd bikini. Very odd. Running into the waves like a child at the beach. So apparently this Narnia door just goes directly to Malibu Beach.
Yeah, it worked in My Monster, and now it's going to work in this movie. Because she starts doing like, pretending like she's an airplane, like, near.
Like she's 5 years old. She's like, and then she falls down in the waves.
And she starts panicking, like, oh my God, I can't swim. And starts like trying to get out. Like she's shocked that the waves are like still rolling in towards her. So, and then it kind of, like her top kind of gets like readjusted. She's like, oh God, cut film.
Yeah.
Keep rolling.
So then we cut back to the bar. And David asks if the guy knows Lou, or if anybody knows Lou, who is the Beardo guy. Which, by the way, David's a cop, and he just saw a man pretty much
sexually accost,
borderline rape a woman in a bar, does nothing about it. And the bartender goes, the big biker, the one who went out to chase that girl. He knows him. So then David gives him another $100, which, by the way, is like, you already got the information at this point. What the fuck is this? And then he says the most amazing series of lines. Yeah. The bartender goes,
do you mind telling me your name so I know who to mourn to?
Clem Westwood.
Right. I think I'll call you Clint Cuckoo.
But it's like, he does it like really quick as he's walking out the door. Like, cuckoo.
Yeah, like David's already on the way out when he delivers this line like almost straight into the camera.
Yeah.
So David walks out of the Narnia door
and appears in a child's bedroom.
Yeah. And then we cut to a shot of a biker accosting the bartender, and he's like, I can smell a cop a mile away. Who was he? And he's just like, he's just a customer.
Yeah.
This will never come back into play.
No.
So then we cut to the biker raping the woman on the beach through the Narnia door. For a while, we watch this. It goes on. Then David runs over, and a terrible fight scene ensues where David just grabs the biker's head and squeezes it a little bit.
And he starts kind of choking him out.
Not really, though. He just kind of grabs his chin and the back of his head, and he just is like, hey! He doesn't even grab his neck. And I'm just like, dude... You can't chokehold a guy without grabbing the windpipe. Like, what are you doing?
He's got his jaw and his ear.
Yes, he's like got the back of his head and his front of his chin, and he's just like squeezing like a vice.
I felt like a Mortal Kombat fatality was about to take place.
I thought his head was gonna get crushed or something. So this part makes no sense because he grabs his head, the woman from the bar runs away. Then we cut to a shot of her fully dressed now.
Yeah.
Looking at the fight awkwardly. David somehow knocks him out. Then we cut to the woman packing up her towel. And the music that's playing, by the way, during this part, also amazing.
Yeah.
It ends and a new song starts. He asks the woman if she needs a ride in a very inaudible audio, and she just says something like, "Sure, my name's Sharon."
Yeah.
New character.
About 65 minutes in.
By the way, this movie's almost over.
Yeah.
Shot of the biker passed out on the beach. Then David gets into the car with Sharon. Another biker comes out of the Narnia door, and he stands on top of the hill, and he's just like,
Yo, Dutch, where the fuck you at? Oh, there you are, motherfucker!
and we watch this shot of him walking down the hill. He walks over and he tries to wake him up. He goes,
Dutch, hey, man, who the fuck did Dutch? What's wrong, man? Who did this to you? Come on, wake up! Dutch, wake up! Hey, come on. Dutch, you okay, man? Come on. Hey.
Which, by the way, there's multiple times in this movie where people walk over to like passed out people or dead people and just talk to them. Like, so then we cut to the chief back in his office with very, very, very shaky camera work. More phone conversations with an actual person in the room giving the dialogue. Apparently, it's the black cop saying something about David messing with the bikers. They say something about how they're going to trail him. Doesn't make any fucking sense. Which, by the way, this makes no sense because the last bit of the movie is going to wrap up and it's like things just happen sequentially, but somehow we'll get to it.
Yeah.
So Sharon, we cut to a shot of Sharon sitting on David's Volvo, dressed in a new, and I put slutty outfit, like quote slutty.
Yeah.
Bikers roll up. Okay, so by the way, that biker that passed out on the beach has woken up again, and now he's going to see her again.
Yeah.
And she's sitting on this car provocatively. Theme music starts again. Quick shot of David with a motorcycle helmet and a jumpsuit on in the back seat of his car. Really, really quick, horrible cut. It's almost like a flash. Then we have the biker stopping. He re-rapes Sharon and takes her into the hills. We watch as he tries to rape her for a good amount of time. Because what happens with David, Chris, in the back of that car?
Oh, does he get stuck?
His foot's stuck in the seat.
That's right.
And we watch, like, they cut back and forth for a good 3 minutes as he tries to get out of the car, but his foot's stuck, and he's like, cut back to the rape. Cut back to the rape. Finally, he gets his car out. David gets out of the car with his helmet on. He runs up to save her. The biker fires bullets. I guess fires the gun at him. Because again, no muzzle flash, just sound effects of gunshots. And David reacts not at all. So like the guy, either he missed them or something, but we'll find out. So then he rips his helmet off. There's a fight scene. Weird cuts of Sharon watching the fight. David wins by doing the same headlock thing again. He does the same move again. And I wrote, why did they have to do this all over again? Why couldn't they just brought him into the car from the beach?
Yeah.
Why did they even do this again?
Run time, baby.
So then Sharon just walks away and gets in the car. Then we watch for a long time as David has a problem dragging the big biker back to the car. And she's not helping at all.
No, she just kind of stands there with like this like pissed off look on her face, like, oh god, oh
yeah.
please.
And then when he finally gets back to the car, she gets out of the car and she goes like, "Can I help you?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yeah, sure, get a rope." And she's like, "Okay." And she gives him the rope, and she goes up to him, hands him the rope, and she says,
Your bulletproof vest worked just like you said it would.
Yeah, this is about the competency of almost a lot of people I've been in bands with. Really, this is about the competency of them.
I wrote, it doesn't work that way. Bullets just don't glide off the vest. So then he says to Sharon, by the way, her shirt's like completely ripped open and she just has her bra on. He's like, put some clothes on, would you? And she's like, I will. No, really, I will. I'll put some clothes on. I'll go do that right now. Like she keeps saying
insisting, like, but let me do this, but there's nothing else to do.
You're great.
I know.
We've got work to do. Put some decent clothes on.
All right. I will, okay?
So then David ties him up while we watch Sharon undress to get redressed by taking off her tiny shorts in like this horrible way where she just bends down and puts him down, and we just see a
With
shot
a low
of her.
angle of her ass.
Oh God! And David just keeps like looking over, and she's doing this, and then she puts on a pair of jeans. So then we cut to inside the car. He tells Sharon she should go. She leaves and waves goodbye. And I love the shot where she just waves. She's standing by her car and just waves. Bye. Thanks for saving me from that rape.
It feels like this whole movie feels like a video game.
Yeah,
at some point, like
we're on level 12 right now, almost done. David asks the biker about Black Pepper. The theme music's still playing, and they go on for a long time. But I wrote down one memorable line: "Is the biker says people that go looking for BP wind up dead, asshole," and he just keeps laughing and laughing.
He's the worst laugh ever, too.
Yeah, he's like, ha 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 ha. Cut to a shot of someone. Because I write someone, don't know who this person is, just the back of their head at the police station looking at a picture of Mina.
Yeah.
Okay. And
Do you have?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
They're like trying to. For some reason, the voice is like, "Do you have enough evidence against her?" "Yes, sir. We have this photo too." And it's just like a tiny picture, like a wallet-sized photo of her on like a manila folder with nothing else around it.
Okay.
That's all it is.
The full line is, he goes, "Do you have..." Okay, voiceover, which, by the way, is another person just standing at the room reading the lines.
Yeah.
"Do you have enough evidence against her?"
"Yes, Chief. We'll get her. I won't let her escape from here."
"Good. Release it to the press and use all your resources."
"Yes, I have everything, even her picture."
In my idea, that would be the first thing you get. Oh, finally that picture of our suspect came through. We could have asked her brother-in-law for a picture. So then we cut to shots of news story saying like something, "Oh, we found out it's a woman, blah, blah, blah," on that same bad set.
Yeah.
Then we cut to random shots of Mina's pictures on papers. You remember this part? Where it's just like clearly the headshots of the actress.
Yeah.
And John Rad like taped them onto like really like crumpled up pieces of paper.
Yeah.
And I put like, these almost look like ransom notes. Then we cut to shots of cops driving down roads.
Again, the light bars change with the era of the shot that they're in.
Then we cut to Mina walking down the street. Men following her. And he says, "She's sure leading us on one hell of a long chase. What's she up to anyway? Who knows? Let's just keep following her." And I just put, really? Like, you found her. Arrest her.
Yeah.
Why the fuck would you just let her walk
Because
around?
her story needs to end on a bigger note because she's like the main principal character this long. But it's not going to end with her, no. So we need to have her some...
Well, yeah, because, okay, they eventually just walk up to her.
Yeah.
By the way, slowly.
Yeah.
And then he just walks up, he like taps her on the shoulder. He's like,
"I'm a police detective. You're under arrest. You have the right to remain silent."
"Now, Chris, you say that's the end. Will we ever see Mina again?"
No.
Will we ever find out what happens to her?
Nope. That is her big grand exit from this
The main
film.
character of this movie is now just fucking gone.
Yeah.
Because John Rad at some point decided to change this movie entirely from a revenge story into finding a drug dealer.
Yeah.
What does Black Pepper have to do with any of this?
Nothing.
Nothing.
It's like a separate case
He's
in
the
itself.
son of the guy who might have killed his brother?
Yeah.
What the fuck? So David and the biker are still riding around in that Volvo, and then he points out Black Pepper's place. Cut to Black Pepper and his girlfriend watching a woman giving a really long belly dance.
Because I think this had to have been like John Rad's like family, like a sister or something.
I wrote that in my notes.
Yeah.
I was like, this has to be somebody he knows, right?
Yeah. Because why would Black Pepper have a belly dancer?
And Black Pepper, by the way, Chris, what would you think a man named Black Pepper might look like?
Black.
Do you think he would be a white man with long, curly, blonde hair?
Kind of like Motley Crue, kind of, drummer looking guy.
Which I thought was a wig the first couple of times I watched it, but then there's a part where he bends over and you can clearly see that's actually his hair.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, man.
Yeah, like the poodle hair going, like 100%.
Still don't know why his name's Black Pepper. And I also wrote in my notes, there's no way this is Lou's son.
No. Adopted, the milkman was busy, yada, yada. And mind you, there's like 8 to 12 minutes left in this film.
Oh,
and
God.
we're about to meet, now we're meeting.
Well, we have to get through the whole we don't get through the whole belly dance because there's this really long belly dance and we keep cutting and cutting and cutting. And then eventually Black Pepper gets bored and he just walks away
I'll
with his
see you at the
girlfriend.
bar.
Yeah. And we got to a very, very long sex scene.
Yeah. With a lot of belly button eating out.
No nudity, but yeah, it's the same belly button shit. So then David pulls up to the house. Two armed guards come up to the car with guns, and they say something like, "Hey, what's going on here, Dutch?" And Dutch is like, "Why don't you ask Superman?" And then he just says nothing.
Yeah.
But then we cut to the chief. Okay, we cut to a shot of the chief dressed like a cowboy.
He's okay. I want to say this. This is do you think this is where Chuck Norris got the idea for Walker? Is his dress?
No, I don't think so. I think that this was made before Walker.
Yeah, I feel like this is where Chuck Norris got the idea for Walker. He saw this movie and was like, "That's my next role."
He looks like some sort of Texas Ranger or something. But the best part is it cuts to a shot of the chief with like a bullhorn.
Yeah.
And behind the chief is like the beach.
Yeah.
But they're nowhere near the beach because we just watched them drive through like country roads. Like they're in the middle of like Riverside or something now. I was like, whoa. If you had to shoot this later, why on earth would you pick the beach as the background? Just pick any fucking hill. Mm-hmm. It's so odd because when it cuts to the chief talking to the bullhorn, I didn't even think they were in the same area.
No.
I thought this was a whole different scene. But no, the chief's talking to a bullhorn and he is 2 feet from the car. And he goes, "Drop it." And I wrote, why are they at Black Pepper's house?
How do they know how to get there?
How do they know how to get there? And how did they know David would be there?
How do they know which car to surround? I thought the exact same thing. And like these guys come out of the bushes, the cops like surprise, like it's a military operation.
So the cops arrest the guards. Cut to really fast shots of the BP sex scene again, Black Pepper. Then we hear this knocking at the door, and then a guy runs in and he goes, "Boss, the cops are all over the place." And he's like, "Don't let him get here." BP runs out of the room. Black cop walks down the hallway, busts open the door to the bedroom. There's someone in bed under the cover.
Who could it be?
He yells, he goes, "Get out from that cover before I blow your damn brains out." He lowers the cover, Chris, and guess what? It's not Black Pepper, is it?
No, it's not.
But the other cop sees the woman, and he goes, "Wow, she's fine." Which, by the way, there's not a woman in this movie a man can't comment about how hot or how fine
or how rapeable she is.
Even a cop. Then the black cop goes, "Where the hell is Black Pepper at?"
Oh, yeah. She points to her chest and she goes, "He's in here."
In my heart.
Yeah.
That's when we finally learn the black cop's name.
Yeah.
Because his partner goes, "He's escaped, Mac." So, by the way, we will never see a shot of Mac again.
No.
But we at least went out knowing his name.
That's a golden rap for Mac, actually.
And that's a rap on Mac, everybody.
Yeah, champagne. Here it comes.
Well, we do see one last thing is they arrest her very slowly.
Yeah.
Like they put her on the bed and she like does some little fight scene that doesn't work out. And then Mac just kind of like pushes her down a little bit. And the other cop's like, "You got her? You got her?" He's like, yeah. Give me the cuffs. All right. This is how you put the cuffs on.
Like it's training day.
Yeah. All right. What you want to do is this, not so tight, but tight enough. Cut to outside. The chief just randomly tells David that Mina has been arrested. He asks if she's okay. That's the last we'll hear of her.
Yep.
By the way, Mina's been arrested. Is she okay? Yeah, she's all right. Hey, Chief, that's Black Pepper.
Black Pepper's like on a hill, like not really very subtly looking over.
No, not creepily at all. He just stands up at one point.
He's like, "Ha!
Hey, Brenda."
Yeah, exactly.
This part's great. David runs off. The chief just doesn't seem to give a damn.
No.
He stands there. Then he asks for another cop to come over. He like tells him to arrest Dutch in the backseat. He's like, put this guy to the station. Yeah. And then he gets into the car. The chief just gets into the Volvo for some reason. By the way, this is not his car. And he gets slowly into the car. Cut to The chief just gets into this car, makes no fucking sense.
With Dutch in the back. Where are they going?
Who knows? Who the fuck knows? So then the fight scene between David and Black Pepper. Lots of punching right into the camera.
And the sound for this?
Oh, yeah, I put the same sound effect is played over and over and over again. We're going to play it right here.
The first Mortal Kombat game had better sound options.
I swear to God it is. It's just Sub-Zero going like,
It's the same soundboard over and over again. It is the same reaction, ow. It is the same punch. But then at 10, 15 into it, they change to another ow and another punch. But it's still back to back.
And this fight scene goes on for a while.
Yeah. And he doesn't bother to use the move he used on Dutch, though. He's not going really
No, for some reason he couldn't get into the chin lock.
Chin lock.
So then Black Pepper wins the fight and David gets knocked out. The chief walks over. He just takes David's pulse and he goes, "Thank God you're alive. 169." He pulls out a radio and goes,
"Calling 169. Calling 169. This is the chief. Yeah, send an ambulance and a helicopter to Hidden Canyon Road. Right away. Calling 169. This is the chief. Over and out."
Let me ask you a question. Will we ever see David again?
Oh no, this is a wrap for David.
That's a wrap on David. Thank you very much. So then we watch the chief chase Black Pepper for a good 5 minutes. And they just kind of like, Black Pepper will run somewhere, then the chief will walk somewhere where he's just been. Like Black Pepper is like running, and then you'll see a shot of the chief just kind of walking after him.
Yeah.
It's like the actor was like, "Oh, no, I'm not gonna run."
You kidding? It's 95 degrees out here. You think I'm gonna run?
I love that part when they go into that weird cave for no reason.
Yeah, I didn't get that.
And then like the chief kind of goes in and the actor looks very annoyed by this whole process. He's like, "Oh, I gotta go in there." Yeah. Well, there's a great part because this chase scene eventually ends by Black Pepper seeing a house. And by the way, this is going to be the last scene of the movie.
Oh, yeah.
Black Pepper sees this house, out of nowhere, and he runs up to it. And then you just see this shot of the chief looking at the house, and it's almost, he's like, no. It's almost like he contemplates, like, maybe I should just let him go. Black Pepper stumbles upon a woman in this house sewing on her couch. New song starts that's amazing, by the way. Black Pepper walks into the house with a knife.
So he goes into this house, and this woman is knitting. This girl is knitting.
Yeah, but she notices something.
Yeah, her ears kind of
something's amiss. So he walks into the room with a knife. She doesn't see him yet.
No, but she hears him.
She hears him, and she pulls something out from that knitting thing. And what is it, Chris?
She knits packed.
Yeah, with an interesting choice of weapon, I would say, like a World War II German Ruger, like
of all the things to knit with,
like the gun that fucking shot Hitler shot himself with. And she just goes, "Who's there?" And it cuts to Black Pepper, and he says out loud, "Maybe she's blind." What a break. And I wrote down, "She's not deaf." So then the blind woman fires her Ruger randomly.
Just wildly into the air.
We get a shot of the chief sneaking up into the house. BP sneaks behind the blind woman and grabs her. And I wrote, what is his plan at this point? What is all this about? Then the chief just runs in while Black Pepper is apparently trying to rape this blind woman with a knife. And the chief goes, "Free, scumbag, let her go. I'm the police, man."
Freeze, scumbag! Let her go. I'm the policeman. Get off the floor! You heard what I said. Get up, put your hands on top of your head.
Then the woman goes over to her chair, the chief starts reading him his Miranda rights, freeze frame on this insane shot, and the credits roll.
Yeah.
And I wrote, what?
Yeah.
There's no resolution to anything.
Nope.
Anything. Not one story was resolved. This is just the most bizarre sequence of events I've ever seen in my life.
It's like, take any random page of a script, throw it in tumble dry, and this is basically what comes out.
What was that movie you said? That one movie we watched? Oh, I don't think we've covered it yet. It's like what you said about Van Nuys Boulevard. We haven't played that episode yet.
Yeah, you
But
write
you said
plot points on a Jenga blocks and stack them. Just knock them down and restack them, and there's your movie.
Oh, so Chris, recommendation.
Absolutely.
This is honestly one of the best movies I've ever seen in my life. Yeah. I am so when I first saw this movie, I would explain it to people and like nobody would believe me. Yeah. I was just like, you have to understand, this is the best movie I've ever seen. It's the best worst movie ever. And like nobody believed me, and I'd only seen it in that movie theater once, and I always wanted to go see it again. I would check all the time to see if there was any other screenings. And it was like after that initial run of midnight screenings, it just disappeared. And the reason it disappeared is because John Rad died. So they didn't have any more screenings because nobody had the rights to the movie. So apparently,
that's terrible.
Draft House contacted the family finally and got the rights to it. But it was like, I'm so glad they learned about it, because I was always like checking the IMDb page, just hoping that one day maybe it would come out on DVD. And when I finally found out it did, I was just so excited about it. I made you come over and watch it on Amazon.
Yeah, praise the sun. I got to see Dangerous Men.
Then we started this podcast and like didn't even think to do Dangerous Men at first,
because for some reason it didn't fall on the radar immediately.
More people need to watch this movie because like on Amazon it only has like 7 reviews. On IMDb it only has like 6 reviews. And it's like a Draft House put out this movie, but I don't think anybody's watching it, and I don't know why.
I don't think it's marketed.
Like, Birdemic is regarded as one of these great bad movies. This movie is a million times better than Birdemic.
Yeah.
It's insane. This is the craziest movie I've ever seen. Nothing even compares to it.
It steamrolls over itself in terms of logic, complexity, and just, wow. Yeah, I mean, what other movie do you know of that switches its main principal actress like halfway through and acts like it just never happened?
Well, what other movie besides Boyhood took like over a decade to make?
Yeah. This is 30
years. This movie
years.
was like, 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Wow. And it got done. That's the amazing thing.
I know. And I will go to my grave thinking about this movie because it's just an experience for me. This is like the movie that got me into like Grindhouse type movies.
Yeah.
This is it. And it was because I just happened to go to the movie at that midnight screening, and the fact that John Rad was there just left this like lasting impression in my brain. And I've always just dreamed that this movie would come out, and I'm just glad that I can share it with other people. Please, please go watch this movie. Please support Draft House Films. Wonderful company. They also released Miami Connection, which we'll probably do at some point.
Yeah.
Absolute classic. That one's way more popular than this one.
Yeah, and the soundtrack alone. It's up there with Savage Street's soundtrack.
Oh, well. Yeah, Dragon Force. Come on now. Yeah. I'd say that's about it. I don't even want to say how the van would relate to this world because it can't.
It
Nothing
really
relate
can't.
To this
no,
world.
It's
Not
impossible.
Unless,
okay, I know how. Okay, in the stabbing scenes, you see a silhouette of Bobby's hair. That's
yeah, she picks up Bobby. Or I was thinking maybe the world of the van exists beyond that Narnia door.
Yeah. What if she walks through
straight into the straight arrow?
Yeah, the straight arrow.
Well, it looks like they're at that same beach.
Oh yeah, huh? VanCon 77's going down.
Where there was that part where the van pulled up to that naked man in the desert.
Oh yeah, and that van was on its way to VanCon.
There you go.
The beach. Okay, that's how the van fit into.
So watch it.
Yeah.
And thanks again for everybody joining us. This is a really long episode, but you know what? It's a special one.
Yeah.
Anyways, we are getting some people on this show soon. Chris contacted a very interesting person. If she ever contacts us back, it would be amazing. But we are lining up interviews with actors and friends of ours, and it's going to be really good. We got a real special guest, somebody who worked with Danny DeVito personally.
Yes.
You could say Danny gave him the cake.
And he got, well, maybe he got to eat it too. Who knows? We'll find out.
We'll find out. Yeah. All on future episodes of Grindbin. By the way, you can find us online at grindhousefilm.com. We're also on Twitter. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. We're all over the fucking place. Thank you for everybody that's listening. If you could rate and review us on iTunes, that would be greatly appreciated. And by the way, the Google Play store is finally open, and our podcast is on there. So everybody with an Android phone, you can now listen to the Grindbin on your podcast thing on that, whatever the fuck it's called, over on Google Play. So go ahead and give us reviews on there, please. Greatly appreciate it.
And don't forget the little rectangular purple button in iTunes that says subscribe. Press it.
Hey, Bobby, I got the money.
Yeah, I made the team.
But you're a hooker.
Get that goddamn thing out of your mouth.
Set it, knockers. Spooky got no real poaching. Brenda.